Previously recorded podcast. All right, welcome to Previously Recorded. I am your host, RP, as always. And this special episode of Previously Recorded is brought to you by Redbubble. We have officially launched our merchandise site on redbubble.com. You can go on there, search Previously Recorded logos. Just search Previously Recorded, and some of our stuff will be up there. Maybe down the line, we'll have some more like episode driven merch where we reference weird things, or maybe there'll be a picture of Fuzz Bucket or something, or Roberto's Lucha Libre mask. Maybe that'll eventually make it on there. But if you go on there, look for our stuff, buy some stickers, buy some magnets, just start slapping it on crap and spreading the word about Previously Recorded. There are no t-shirts on there because we're still giving that business towards Totally Tease. So if you do want a Previously Recorded t-shirt, go to there. But if you order now, by the time this episode comes out, you'll probably get it in time for Christmas, the perfect gift. So welcoming in my co-host, Bob. Bob, how are you?
Good. Already got myself some stickers.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got your stocking stuffers for people, right?
Yeah, I thought about getting just a bunch of magnets to slap on random people's cars.
But they're not at $750.
I'm going to wait till after Christmas. Budget-wise, it's the busy time.
So I ordered 10 stickers of the Previously Recorded logo and the Gateway Gamers one. And then I was like, maybe I'll get a couple magnets. And I saw they were $750 each. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
I'll get one eventually, but I ordered some stickers for same thing for Previously Recorded Gateway Gamers. Yeah. Just to like put on my stuff and then give out to like random people, just like kind of as a joke. But
if you were lucky enough, you were able to get the Star Wars sticker that has been taken down. There's so much crazy shit on Redbubble that is like specifically like basically just screenshot from a movie, and that's fine. But
Shane has the Star Wars sticker, so I'm convinced that he ordered it and then reported it because he didn't want other people to get it.
That son of a bitch. That's sandbagging son of a bitch.
Such a Shane move.
Mm-hmm. So go on there. There's mugs. There's a bunch of different crap.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff on there. There's hats. For Gateway Gamers, there were hats at least. I don't know that I could find them for Previously Recorded, but I was going on like as things were coming up too, so like, it was kind of refreshing.
Yeah, so it should be up there. Our link is on all of our social media bio, and if you buy a portion of the proceeds, do come to us to help us continue to keep doing this and be able to afford some of our platform that we need to, and helps us buy beer too, so that does help.
Which I'm not drinking on tonight's episode.
Neither am I.
We're gonna stink. If this stinks, we know why.
If it stinks, well, we've done this before, just me and you. As our second episode since the last time was 2019, where it was just me and you, and that was a really good episode. We went over Comic-Con, but today's episode is gonna be a little bit different because it's like a mixed episode. It's a sort of a review episode, but also a recap, which I haven't done with another person yet.
A couple things. It's just a couple things, yeah.
Just a couple things today.
But we had some plans, and then schedules got busy, and so we weren't sure what we were going to get. And we had guests that were coming on, and then they couldn't come on. So there's a lot that kind of was just getting thrown around.
Well, I think what happened is we got too big for our britches. We went live with our merch store, and I think people started to get intimidated.
They didn't want to be on. They were afraid. No.
So we had people back out. But
when's the last time that you were afraid, RP? I can't remember either, but they were afraid. The running 16. Joke is that not afraid. I'm not afraid.
So I guess to start off today's episode, once again, I'm having to correct myself. Last episode, I emphatically stated that Spider-Man No Way Home's runtime was 2 hours and 38 minutes, 39. It was changed to 2.5 hours, and then more recently changed to 2 hours and 28 minutes. So again, we're all about posterity on this podcast. Did that make sense?
I don't think that's the word you're looking for.
Whatever. Candle burns at both ends over here. Yeah, continuity, I guess. So I just wanted to stick that out. But some news.
Now that was the time.
Yeah, that was the lead.
That was the listed time, and so it was the second longest movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now where does it fall?
I think it might be like number 4 now. I think it's
So it's still a longer Marvel movie.
Yeah. I think it's Endgame, Eternals, Infinity War, and then I think this. But this is a, from all things that we've seen, feels like it's going to be a bloated movie, like in a good way. So the longer the runtime makes sense. So just so I'm not, crumb bum creep, I just wanted to correct myself on here because I can't be, butchering Mahershala Ali's name and telling the wrong Spider-Man runtime.
Speaking of crumb bum creeps, I got a good crumb bum creep story actually.
Oh yeah, do you want to do it right now?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna bust it out right now because it's bothering me a lot. Still.
All right, this is our crumb bum of the week.
Crumb bums, multiple.
Oh shit!
I want to fight you.
Why is that?
Because you're a crumb creep, lush coward.
You don't even know me, Mayor.
You are a lush. I can tell by looking at you.
Right, so I think at this point it's become almost common knowledge, or we tried to hide it for a little bit, but that I'm a teacher.
Oh yeah.
So I explain Whamageddon to my students every year.
Oh no.
Right, Whamageddon is the game for those that don't know, where you basically just try to avoid Wham's Last Christmas throughout the month of December, and if you hear it, you get knocked out. So this morning, another teacher comes up, and he's just a rough around the edges kind of guy. Like he's not the type to be subtle at all. And he comes into my room and he goes, "Hey, some kids told me earlier that they want me to distract you. So can you just come into my room at this time?"
Oh,
that's how I distract, right? Or that's how he distracts. So I go into the room. I come back into my room. This class of honors students is just giggling. They think they're really smart, right? And about 5 minutes in, the one student goes, "Hey, Merry Christmas." And then Last Christmas starts playing on someone's computer. First off, attacks don't count. It's just an illegal move.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
But also, I got knocked out on Saturday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I already got knocked out. So I was like, "Hey, spoiler, I'm knocked out. What was that about?" The plan was when the students said Merry Christmas, they were all supposed to play it at the same time on their laptops. And only one of them did. And I was like, next time you're going to coordinate something, why don't you do something productive? Why did they put so much time into just trying to ruin something that I enjoy?
Hey, it's like
really hurt my feelings.
Next time you take the shot, don't fucking miss.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If you're going to do it well.
Damn, what bunch of crumb bums though.
Crumb bums across the board.
We're all out early this year. I lost to Amazon Prime and we did a shuffle and I was like, there was a long pause and I was like, Wham, please don't come on next. And it was the next song.
I was with Duke, actually. I was at the comic book stop.
Son of a bitch.
Is Shanks out or did he? Because I have a couple group texts that play. So I have my family, I have work friends, as far as the one group text we're in, Shanks won that one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but to win, you got to make it to Christmas. So
yeah, as a group, I've made it most years. This is one of the few times.
It kind of upsets me because I genuinely like that song, and I gotta try to avoid it like the plague. But the loophole in it is that you can listen to other versions. It's just
you just can't listen to
Wham.
Not the Wham version.
But that bunch of crumb bums.
Crumb bums across the board. So as soon as you said that, I was like, you know what? Let's give the people what they want. Maybe we'll put a crumb bum.
That would be good.
Thing on Redbubble.
A little sticker of a crumb bum creep,
it's a homeless piece of bread. Literally a crumb bum.
A crumb bum. I like that. You just hold a homeless man holding a piece of bread. I like that.
It's the crumb of bread is homeless.
Oh,
it's like the hobo with the stick with the thing on the end of it
with the bandana.
I'll
workshop.
On it.
Yeah, we'll have to workshop.
I don't have people, but I'll get them on it.
All right. So the next piece of news I think was pretty cool news. Across the Spider-Verse, Part 1 dropped their first look. Did you have a chance to watch this, Bob?
I did it. I have not seen it yet.
All right. So the next piece of news was that Kevin Feige.
Well, So is it? I think it's the Spider-Verse sequel.
Yeah. So they announced it's Part 1. So at least guarantees us 2 more movies.
Was the first look just like a teaser trailer type thing?
I'm pretty sure. What I heard today was that it was the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Oh, so you haven't seen it either?
No, I have. But I was told that it was that's the opening of the movie. Where
is it it is There is
Yeah,
continuity to it. It's not just like random shots, like a trailer type thing.
it looks awesome though. Like just the visual
Yeah,
aspect of it was
didn't
pretty
get a
cool.
chance for that. Although I do like in Spider-Verse, so I will check that out
Yeah,
soon.
you should definitely check. All of you should check it out. We shared it on all of our socials. So
See, I
go check
had
it out.
was that today?
No, it was Saturday, I think.
Yeah, I've been off the map for probably about 3 or 4 days now.
I'm gonna be going off the map starting next Monday.
Just a real crumb bum book.
Well, next week's out of for my mental stake, just for
Because you
Spider-Man
know you're
spoilers.
gonna get hit with a spoiler somewhere.
Today I was avoiding. There's a spoiler or a rumor about Ant-Man 3, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna click on it, and then it just shows up in my feed in somebody.
Like I say, like you have the worst luck with it, so you just need to stay off everything.
And like I block all of this stuff, and it was a Spanish Twitter account who's retweeted by this guy Manabyte, who basically he was like he ran a website, but people, I liked him. I thought he was informative, but people didn't like him, so they kind of like bullied him, and so he just shut everything down, and now all he does is retweet. So like he retweeted this fucking like retweet the article, so if people want to go and see, they can click in. Like
Yeah.
don't I? That's why I hate that shit. We're so far away from that movie too.
You
Which
just have awful luck. You could be looking up like a salt and pepper shaker on Amazon, and there'd be a spoiler for Spider-Man No Way Home in the
Yeah.
reviews.
Yeah, exactly. I do. So I'm just like I'm just trying to just staying off of social media from probably Monday on. And I advise you guys all too, unless you don't care.
We'll be
Um,
seeing the movie on Thursday.
Yeah, we're seeing it Thursday night. Bob secured his tickets early.
Thanks
Shout
in
out.
large part to
Shout out.
Rufino. Big shout out for Rufino.
Yeah, you saved me from having a heart attack at 12:01 Monday the 29th in the morning.
Rufino called me like his house was on fire, and because he had early tickets. So
yeah, thank you for people breaking the rules
Yeah.
and helping us out.
Yeah, love a lot of love for the
Yeah. So you say seriously that those websites, I don't know if how much you heard about it, but the sites were down for like 4
they
hours.
crashed. Shane got his at like 4 a.m. So
Mhm.
I guess
they
that's around what time they went back up.
Most people I heard of like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Fellow listener Mark, who's on the show, told us that since Tooth was able to get them for them, but Tooth's an insomniac, so who knows when he got them.
Mark's birthday today, the day
Yep.
we're recording, not the day of
Yeah, happy birthday, Mark.
happy belated, I guess, Mark.
Yeah, I guess by the time you're hearing this. Okay, so
Turning into a radio show, right?
I know.
Just us announcing listeners and
Yeah, but I kind of like it. It's a very different vibe for us. All right, so there is some more news. There's a Kevin Feige's been on, and Amy Pascal have been on the media tour for Spider-Man No Way Home. One of the cool things about what they're doing is they're only showing like 45 minutes of the film to review outlets so that they can get an idea of what the movie is, but no spoilers, which I think is great. Because of what happened with Eternals, that was fucking awful. The Harry Styles thing leaked for Eternals. Somebody just tweeted it out from Variety. But anyway, they're acknowledging that Feige kind of acknowledged that Venom's popularity makes it kind of like a no-brainer for him to be part of the MCU. And also they're kind of nodding to Morbius being part of the MCU as well, which makes me kind of uncomfortable.
that would be Jared Leto's Morbius, Tom Hardy's Venom.
Yep.
Not like rehashed characters. It has to be those because of the Sony deal, right?
Yeah, so there's nothing in place. There's no deal for a 4, 5, and 6 Spider-Man. So who knows? But that just makes me worrisome because it's just, I mean, if this is what we have to deal with to get Spider-Man, like Tom Holland keep playing Spider-Man or the Spider-Man deal, I guess, because at the end, if they're going to be in Marvel movies, Marvel will have the final say over Sony, instead of vice versa when it's Sony movies. But I'm not trying to poo-poo on the movie. They put together a really good trailer for Morbius where I have no interest in that movie. And I was like, that's a pretty good trailer. The movie's probably going to stink. But
I don't have an interest in the character really. Like
Nope.
I'm not even when I'm reading. He's never been somebody that's like stood out to me. I know some people are like think he's pretty cool. Just not
I've-
not for me. Same with Venom. I was never just a huge Venom
I'm,
person. Still haven't seen the second Venom movie.
So I didn't like it. I
I've
thought
heard mixed reviews. I've talked to a couple people.
yeah. I thought they did some cool things. It was rushed. It was short. Whatever. It is what it is. But I'm the same way, man. I don't care about Morbius. I've never read anything with Morbius. I've read stuff with Venom. But I mean, if they're trying to connect it, maybe they somehow connect.
I've read some things with Morbius, but never as like a main. Like he pops up in things that I've read. If that makes sense.
I mean, it would make sense maybe to have him with Blade, just because he's a vampire.
Oh, yeah, that would be the logical decision, I guess.
But we'll leave that for the suits in Washington to figure out. One more piece of news that I thought was pretty cool. Nick Cage is set to play Dracula in Universal's Renfield, which is, I guess they're rebooting the Dark Universe movies.
Sure. Yeah, just
Yeah.
keep them coming. Keep trying.
Yep, keep trying. Mummy was bad.
I know people who want them. I know people who really want to see them, and it's just like
I like the idea. The shared universe idea is always very cool to me.
just don't.
I don't need it though.
If you can't fit, what was it? Dracula Untold? Was that like their first one where they were trying to reboot it there?
Yeah, but that failed. So then they were like, all right, well, if the Mummy's good, we'll keep it. And then that failed.
And they canceled Tom Cruise, so that was gonna fail.
But the one that was good was The Invisible Man. I enjoyed that.
Who was in that?
The
I
chick
feel like-
from the chick from the Hulu show. What the fuck?
Oh wow, you're really
Ham-
giving me a lot of information here.
Handmaiden's Tale.
The Invisible Man 2020.
Yeah. It was like
Yeah, I saw. That was part of this? Like that was part of that universe, or was intended to be?
I have no idea. That was a Blumhouse movie. So like Blumhouse and Universal have a partnership. So Blumhouse
Okay.
is like the forefront right now for horror. So like whatever. So
That was
that's
that came out about 2 weeks before COVID.
yeah, I watched it. That was like one of the first movies I like illegally watched during COVID.
You heard it here first. He legally watched that movie.
Yep,
During
legally.
Legally watched that through a streaming service that he was not supposed to have. All right. So our next episode, before we get into what we're going to do today, for all the listeners that wait all year for this, is going to be our Hallmark movie. So we're going to do a Spider-Man like review probably right after we see the movie, a couple days at most. We're not going to release that right away because we don't want to spoil things for anybody. We know how much people have been waiting on this movie, and we've had some things spoiled in the past. So the next episode that we're going to put out is our Hallmark movie, and we're going to tease it. We don't want to talk about what the movie is yet. We don't want to put that out there because people wait all year to open that present on Christmas morning.
I know, man. This is our Avengers Endgame, like Avengers Infinity War of previously recorded, and it changed the Mjolnir moment. Honestly,
It's honestly, if we didn't do Hallmark movies, I don't know that Shane would stay on the podcast.
I don't know if we would let him stay on the podcast.
all we're gonna say right now, for those of you who are waiting for the big reveal, is that we want to let you know that we're keeping it in the family this year, as far as the actors and actresses who are in the Hallmark film that we're going to be watching.
I would say the knockers are not as merry, but they're still bright.
Yeah,
but they're still bright.
They're still bright. Okay,
they're still bright, but not as merry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be our next episode, Christmas Eve. We'll be streaming it live for you.
As always, and if you see what you think is a comet in the sky that day, it might be Santa Claus.
It may be Santa Claus wearing a Doolittle 5XL T-shirt.
No, I was banking on doing my my family's Christmas shopping again on the podcast this year, but we haven't recorded in enough time.
Yeah, I mean, are you done? Are you done?
No, we could absolutely still do it.
Yeah,
that's a brain trust situation. We need all of us here for that.
I know. Yeah, because that was this episode last year was the previously recorded Christmas special where we did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a brain trust thing. We can't have amazing.
Shay
things
needs to be involved in that, unfortunately.
He certainly does. So maybe we'll do it in person. Maybe on the when we record on the 19th. Maybe that'll be enough
Yeah,
time.
that'll be
All Prime orders only though. It's got to be because you
I
can
got
get it in
it
time.
in 3 days.
So that's it for news. So the first part of this show is going to be Bob's review of Home Sweet Home Alone.
Yeah, so originally RP and I were originally a few of us were gonna review Home Sweet Home Alone, but some people had some issues. They couldn't record. We couldn't kind of find a schedule that worked for everybody. But I still watched it because I was like, you know what, this is a movie I'm gonna watch anyway. Home Alone is my favorite Christmas movie, and so I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot, even though Home Alone 3 is awful. And I think they made a Home Alone 4.
They made a Home Alone 4 and 5.
Yeah,
4 and 5 were direct to DVD.
So they don't count. They don't count.
They don't. I've had a reawakening about Home Alone 3.
That's like the Lion King 1.5. You know,
Yeah.
if it comes straight to DVD or
it doesn't
VHS
count.
at that point, it doesn't count in the saga.
In the zeitgeist, right?
Yeah.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Absolutely.
So I had a reawakening of Home Alone 3. Home Alone 3 was my favorite Home Alone movie for a really long time, especially when I was a kid growing up. I was homesick. It was one of the movies I always watched. And I've just had such a reawakening to how fucking ridiculous that plot of that movie is.
Home Alone 3 is like the most, even more so probably than this one.
Like, he's stopping terrorists.
Yeah. Like it's the most insane thing you've ever heard. Like, when I let me see what year that came out. Let me look this up.
Dude, that's got to be like 99 because ScarJo's in that.
Because I remember, like, is she the mom?
No, ScarJo's the sister. She's young.
Oh, okay, I was like, what? No way. So, like, I remember seeing it as a kid and being like, yes, this is it. This is exactly what I want.
Like, to just think how
1997. So I'm 7 years old, and I'm like, yes, perfect. Like, I think I'm 99% sure we saw it in theaters. And then I watched it. I think I turned 11 and watched it again. I was like, this stinks. This is out of control.
Dude, it's so bonkers. Like the scene when he's sitting on the laundry, the dryer, and he's got the gun and he just like swaps it for a bubble gun. Like, muff, that's a loaded gun.
Dude,
like, it's just like he's so relaxed. The movie stinks. The movie stinks. I've changed my tune on that. But
ridiculous.
Sorry. So as I digress the conversation, but
so I convinced myself, I said, you know what? I'm gonna watch Home Sweet Home Alone. I don't think that I've stated this opinion on the podcast before. I'm the type that says, like, hey, leave things alone. Right? Home Alone is my favorite Christmas movie. Home Alone 2. Get flip-flop. Sometimes Home Alone 2 I enjoy more. Literally got home yesterday and my nephew just immediately asked me to do the scream from when Marv is getting electrocuted.
It's the greatest thing ever.
I can't do it. I think that's how my voice became this way. It was from doing it yesterday.
We will save the listeners' eardrums because it's hilarious, but in a recording, it's not.
No. Good. So if we can get the sound clip for that, I'd love to put that in here somewhere. But not here, just somewhere along the line of the episode. So, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna watch this. I have faith in it. Plus, it's a Disney Plus movie, so it's like you almost take it with a grain of salt a little bit more. Because I'm like, I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to see it in the theater. I'm not mad that I spent money on it.
I gotta pause it.
This is the crazy aspect of it. Before I even got a chance to watch it, both of my parents watched it already.
Really?
My parents who don't watch anything other than
Hallmark.
Yeah. Which. Just ordered this today. I'll announce this on the podcast because no one but my brother and the family listens to it. I was just looking for like things to get, and there's like a Hallmark movie book.
No way.
Yeah, got that for my dad immediately.
Oh my god!
It's got like awesome recipes in it. It's got like behind the scenes stuff in it.
Man.
Like the books that you get from Marvel. There's one for the Hallmark Christmas movies. Dude, it's unbelievable.
Are they all shot on the same set? Like, it's got to be a short book.
I mean, I'm gonna go through it.
I may have so my mom has 2 extra tickets to the Hallmark movie Christmas Con or whatever. So I don't know if she sold them, but maybe I'll have to ask her what it is. Maybe your parents can go.
There's a Hallmark movie Christmas con.
It's called Christmas Con. And my mom went 2 years ago before COVID, like before COVID, she went. And she like wore like a t-shirt that says like I Hallmark Christmas movies are my life or some shit like that. She went with Pat's mom.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
Like people go up to like booths and you're like, oh my god, it's you.
Yeah.
Lacey Chabert from every Hallmark Christmas movie.
I was gonna say you're in 7 of my favorite movies. Oh man.
I especially like the one where you go back to your hometown from your big city job.
Oh, it's my favorite. We might have to do a live reading when you get that book. Like you might have to come with excerpts for like Shane to like
and then we'll play a trivia game where I give the recipe and he has to tell me which Hallmark movie it's from. And he'll get everyone right.
I would not be surprised, man.
But yeah, so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch this movie. And I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. I'll give a little bit of a review. I don't want to spoil it for people. Maybe we go over a little bit more in depth after Christmas, but it's Christmas season, so people are still working through all that stuff. But
sure.
I didn't hate it. That's my if out of 1 through 5, I didn't hate it. So it's a little bit of a twist on the idea. There's no burglar really. There are I don't know the actor's name.
Rob Delaney.
Rob Delaney, and then I usually know her name.
Yeah, Ellie Kemper.
Ellie Kemper. I don't know. I was like, that is completely blank. So Rob Delaney and Ellie Kemper fall into that role, but they're not it's based more on a big misunderstanding than people being criminals.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the thing that was all right, this is different. And honestly, I would say the first 20 or 25 minutes, there were a couple things I laughed at, actually laughed at. And I was like, all right, I can get into this. Mm-hmm. But I will say probably the last half hour or so, I was over it.
Yeah.
That was kind of the trend that happened throughout. It's still the same kind of slapstick comedy stuff. It's a lot of them falling and slipping on ice, and mm-hmm. The kid's a maniacal genius who does things that should probably cause him serious physical harm, but
those people, they would be dead.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I didn't hate it. Did it need to exist? Absolutely not. Will I watch it again? Most likely not. But if you're bored and you want to try a new Christmas movie, mm-hmm. it's something to think about for sure.
Yeah. So I wanted you to do it because this was supposed to be the episode. You were supposed to have watched it, and then we were gonna kind of do the Spider-Man thing together. But I did end up watching it. I had time, and I enjoyed initially the twist of the burglars, but you felt bad for them. In the original Home Alones, you were like, yeah, fuck these guys.
Yeah, there's no bad guy.
Yeah, and there's no lesson. There's no in the first ones, I feel like there's a lesson where again, no spoilers. We can't really get
Kevin has to learn that Christmas is about family, and he doesn't really not want to have a family. And
this kid stinks.
The kid is the kid is the one you're you're a piece of shit, kid.
Yeah.
He's funny. It's the kid from Jojo Rabbit. He's a funny kid.
Yeah, Archie Yates. I'm a big fan of him, and I thought in the role, what his script was, he did a really good job acting. But I didn't love this stuff. No, I was this kid stinks.
So here's the thing, and I don't know.
But I will say, sorry, real quick. I'm with you. The first 25 minutes, I let out some legit laughs. I was
and there were moments throughout where I was all right, that's funny. Yeah. Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney, whatever. It's
same shit.
It's an Irish dude. Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney are playing in a bell band, a bell choir at an old people's home, and that scene was funny to me. Mm-hmm. Because it was the dean from Community
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was like
yeah.
running it, and he was like, "This is the life I chose." At one point, like he's like the conductor of this like bell choir, or whatever you would call that. So like, there were things that were funny for sure, and that, but like it's the entire movie is easily solved
With a
if
conversation.
if somebody just knocks on the door and says like,
Yep.
"Hey, here's the situation."
Yep.
But instead,
Absolutely.
none of that happens.
And what works with the first Home Alone, like I feel like they did a good job with like the technology aspect, because today most people have cell phones or a way to connect. Where I feel like they handled that really well. The nod to the original Home Alones was cool, I thought.
The Buzz cameo. I think
Yeah.
that's been like released. That's the spoiler, but like Buzz is in the film, and then he
Makes
mentions things. He mentions Kevin at one point. Like there's some funny stuff there.
eating the sloppiest burrito I think I've
Sloppy
ever
burrito.
sloppiest burrito I've ever seen. But the first ones work because the Marv and Harry are bad
The
dudes.
bad dudes. Yeah, and then 3 works because they're terrorists.
Yeah, yeah. But it just didn't do it for me. I did not like this. I'm the same with you. Towards the sticks were cool. Like you watch Home Alone,
The booby trap stuff, all that.
watch
Yeah.
that's the big thing, selling point. But like there's like a towards the end of the movie, there's just like a flip of a switch, like, oh, okay.
Everything's fine now.
Yeah. And they were just trying to have a conversation with this kid so many times. They just wouldn't fucking listen.
Like at one point towards the end, like they are the burglars, and he thinks that they're trying to like rob his house.
Mhm.
And then she's like, "Oh, you poor thing," and he like hugs her, and I'm like, "You just literally physically abuse these people for a half hour
Yep.
of this film. Like
Destroyed your house.
what is happening?"
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I didn't, but at the same time, like it was better than I expected. I guess that's my review. It was better.
Okay.
Like there was I didn't expect to like actually enjoy it really at all, just because I hate reboots. But like I did laugh at things. I did find it enjoyable. My next venture, which is not related to this whatsoever, but is apparently on HBO Max, is 8-Bit Christmas with Neil Patrick Harris, is apparently pretty good.
And Jude Diane Raphael.
So I'm gonna try that out next. See
Yeah.
how that goes.
I'll have to watch it. I mean, it's nice. It was like a new Christmas movie, but I was watching it and like they nod to the original Home Alone with a lot of things, but just like twist it a little bit. But I didn't care for it. It's not horrible. It's not great. Just stick to Home Alone 1 and 2, personally, if you're gonna watch it. And like in the end, unlike Home Alone like 1 and 2, where like the bad guys go away, it's just like the issues resolved at hand, and it's like it's not about the message that like initially you think the movie's about. It just ends up being about money. Like the movie's
Yeah.
about money.
The entire thing is just about how it's hard to afford a nice house.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's why I connected with it so well. Yeah, maybe that was the thing. Yeah, because it's hard to afford a nice house. But yeah, no, you're right. Like the whole thing was just money. It's like my recommendation here is, if you have Disney Plus already and you're like, I want to try a new Christmas movie, you know what you're getting.
It's a good family movie.
Kids probably like it. It's probably the same way I liked Home Alone 3 when I was 7.
Yeah.
Kids are probably gonna think it's funny. But so this is what was confusing to me, and I guess I'm probably like, the end credits, it says based on a screenplay by John Hughes. Does that just mean it's based off Home Alone?
Yeah. So yeah, like you'll see like in a comic book movie, it'll be like based on the characters created by
Okay. Yeah. So it didn't say like based on the whatever, just based on a screenplay by John Hughes. And I was like, John Hughes is dead. There's no way he wrote the screenplay. Like, I don't understand. Or like, did he write parts of the screenplay? That just means that like this film is based off of Home Alone, which he wrote.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So I was like, there's no chance. So I was like very confused about it.
I agree with
is better than that film for sure.
For sure. I agree with you. If you have Disney Plus, go watch it. With watching a Disney Plus movie. So Disney Plus has knocked it out of the park with their shows. Their movies, besides like the Pixar ones, Pixar ones were built for theaters. I can't imagine they're built for Disney Plus movies are any good. Like like if like this was a movie built for Disney Plus, where it's just something to watch, and it's
have you not watched any built for Disney Plus movies? I feel like this isn't the first one we've watched.
I haven't. I've watched like Disney Channel original movies.
And so I feel like, well, that's the thing, right? So like I guess that would be our equivalent. Like this is the equivalent of a Disney Channel original movie.
Yeah, like
this
I
point in
wasn't
time.
like even when they announced it, I was like, I'll check it out, but I wasn't expecting like anywhere near the original quality of the original Home Alone.
Nah, because it was like it's almost like a made for TV movie at this point in my head.
Exactly. And you know who was wasted? I'm a big Pete Holmes guy. He was
Pete
wasted.
Holmes was one of the reasons I laughed immediately.
Really?
When
I missed his part.
he was starting to shave the kid's head.
That was funny. But then like he was barely in the movie. I thought he was the dad. He was actually the uncle.
Yeah, he was the uncle. The dad for the kid he's from something, but
Yeah, he was in
I didn't even realize it was his dad till like the final scene.
Yeah, because he's like non-existent. And even in that final scene, he still like kind of looks like, why am I here?
Let's see, Disney Plus original. You know what? I'm thinking of the fact that like Soul got released.
That's what I mean. Like the Pixar.
Yeah. That's what you were saying about the Pixar stuff.
Like they were built for the Artemis Fowl was built for the theater, but that could have.
Oh, that was built for the theater. I didn't see it. Didn't watch it anyway. So.
Yeah, I heard it was terrible. So questions about Home Alone. Do you think it should be left alone? Do you think there should be a sequel to this?
No, it's done. It's over.
Yeah. I don't think these movies.
It was done before this started.
That's true. Like this one doesn't. There's no need for a sequel, and the only way that I see that these movies work is a new kid each time. That's the only like thing that makes they got away with it.
Disney Plus doing that, where they just put out a Home Alone like every year, every other year, with just a new kid and some crazy hijinks, just to give kids a bunch of stuff to laugh about when like adults fall. Because I guess that is the appeal to an extent. It's just like, hey, kids like this because adults get their asses kicked, and you don't realize how physically traumatizing that would actually be until
it would be god awful. Because I mean, growing up, that's what I loved about Home Alone, but now I enjoy like the entire movie. The entire movie is so enjoyable.
I like when he calls him a little jerk.
You little jerk.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
But I think this is probably about as decent of a sequel or a reboot as we're probably gonna get, and that's not
Safety was a Disney Plus original movie. Was that made for? That's the Clemson movie, but I don't know if that was made for the screen and put on Disney Plus, same as like Soul and them. I didn't see it, but that one did look pretty good.
That got a rave review from Mrs. Ortiz. She loved that movie.
She's the type of person I could see loving that movie as well. Very like family oriented, family friendly.
Exactly. So, anything else about Home Alone?
Just stop making them, please.
Yeah, I gave it. It was fine.
That's my request. Like I didn't hate this. I didn't feel like I had wasted an hour and a half of my time. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like I don't need them anymore. No. I will say, as far as Disney Plus goes, aside, this is far and away the worst thing I've watched on Disney Plus recently. Just finished the Jungle Cruise.
What'd you think?
Watched that in my study hall for a few days. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
very Pirates of the Caribbean-y vibes towards the end, but that was okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was long, but we watch it. We have a half-hour study hall every day, so it was like broken up over that, so it didn't feel as long.
I thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah, it's what I thought I was getting, and I like that it lived up to that. And then Hawkeye has been great.
Yeah, so today episode 3 of Hawkeye dropped. Or 4 actually. So we're almost at the
4.
end.
We've it's 6, right? So we have 2 left.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 2 left. Next week's will be right the day before Spider-Man No Way Home. Rumors are abuzz, but what have you thought so far of the first 4 episodes?
I'm a big fan. Big fan of Hawkeye. I mean, I liked Jeremy Renner before as Hawkeye. Like I like the character in general. Underutilized sometimes, I think, but like also he's an archer and he's human. Like you know what I mean? He doesn't have the power of everybody else, but I was always a fan. But now I like what they're doing with Kate Bishop. There's a lot of things that are getting tied in. There's some things that could be bigger than. Is there a possible Wilson Fisk thing going on here? Who knows?
Well, who knows?
No, I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I like the dynamic between Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld.
Every character that they've introduced, I've liked in the show. Jack.
The dad, Jack, is like annoying to me.
Yeah, but like I think he's supposed to be.
But yeah, he's not a good guy, so like I'm not supposed to like him either.
But I think they want us to think he's the bad guy. And
No, I completely agree. But like
um,
everything he's done has been kind of bad. I don't love any of the Bishop family people. Like I'm
well,
not
yeah,
a big fan of the mom.
I like
Even
her
her
as an
dad in the
actress.
first episode,
Yeah, it was weird.
I was like, that guy's kind of weird.
hmm
And then Jack, I'm like not a huge fan of. Pizza
Yeah.
Dog, on the other hand,
Oh yeah,
give me as
Lucky.
much of that thing as I can get.
Oh, she's great.
I was at the comic book store the other day and they started a new Hawkeye Kate Bishop series. So I picked up the first issue.
Oh, really? Did you read it
To
yet?
see how it is. No, I haven't. I have a stack of comics
Hmm.
about 90 deep. So I don't really know why I'm getting new ones because I'm never going to get to it. But
I read two. That's it.
I'm down
Eternals.
to like a small number. It's just I'm so far behind.
Yep. Yep.
Like I'm at like basically like TMNT, Batman, Daredevil, Spider-Man.
Okay. How's Daredevil
Something like
been?
that. Daredevil's all right. Elektra is Daredevil right now. Matt Murdock was in jail.
There's two comic books I wish I never stopped reading. Daredevil. Daredevil. When I was reading it, I feel like it just flipped around because it was like issue 799, and then they like rebooted it again, and it
Yeah.
got darker, which is fine. And then the Amazing Spider-Man by Nick Spencer. I wish I never stopped reading
That so I this is how far behind I am. I have the end of his run
Mhm.
and have just continued to get
the books.
the new run.
Okay.
I don't even know if I like the new writer.
Who is it? Do you know?
I can tell you in a second. I have him sitting right here.
Because his Craven Last Stand or Last Time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was so good, and I borrowed them from you to try and get back into it, and I just didn't, and I wish I did. But I'm reading Nonstop Spider-Man right now, which is different, and then I'm
Okay.
reading The Eternals, which has
Okay.
been good. Yeah.
So Jed McKay
Okay.
is the writer for Spider-Man, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to be a fan, but at some point I'm going to catch myself up and find out for sure.
Well, that Nick Spencer run was incredible. I just
Just
stopped
ended it.
reading. I just
Maybe
stopped reading in general to
2
save
months
on
ago. The Nick Spencer run
Hmm.
just ended recently. Oh, maybe that was wrong. I grabbed the Beyond. I grabbed the tie-in. I am wrong. It is not Jed McKay. The Amazing Spider-Man is now written by, this might be Kelly Thompson. Yeah, Kelly Thompson is the new writer.
Hmm.
So she did, I believe at one point she did a Captain Marvel.
That's your girl too. Anyway, as we digress.
Yeah, seriously.
Hawkeye's been very good. Better expectations than what I originally had. I thought it was going to be kind of the bottom of the bucket.
Told you all.
Yeah, well, you read that run, right? I thought you read that run for Hawkeye. But it's been.
I've read runs of Hawkeye, but Kate Bishop. I've never read like the Hawkeye Kate Bishop like original like origin stuff. She has just been around in Hawkeye stuff.
I played with them in the Avengers game, and I did like her. I really like what Haley Steinfeld's doing, and then obviously the potential tease of the Kingpin has me hyped. Daredevil's my guy, and love Kingpin. So that in itself alone, on top of a really cool story that they're telling, this side of Clint that we're getting, top notch.
And it's holiday based, so it's perfect.
Yeah, which is great.
So let me ask you another question, just based on timing alone. Do you think that the 5th/6th episodes are purposely placed where they are on the calendar because we are going to get more information in a small film that's going to be released next week called
it's an indie film, a little indie film called No Way Home.
I think it was at Cannes. Yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home. Is that am I pronouncing that correctly?
No Way Home. Yes, that is the correct pronunciation.
I didn't know if that was French or not.
No, I've heard it's I don't English. I've heard it's English.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it is correct then. Yeah. So, what do you know about this film?
So this film, I do know.
That's how you fucking segue, Art.
That's how you segue. I will just say, episode 1 could have been fine, and then we could have got episode 2 of the week the next week because I thought episode 1 and 2 were really good. But I do think they're strategically placed. I do think December will probably be the best Marvel month for me, as my 3 favorite superheroes are Daredevil, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
So, get to the final part of our episode tonight. We are going to just quickly recap because this episode has been good, and we don't need to fill anything. It's been really good. This is just me and Bob hanging out. Honestly, I feel like we're hosting a Twitch.
Yeah, basically, like, hey, you guys want to come?
hang out with us? So we are just going to kind of quickly walk you through the events of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Can you do me an even quicker recap, just off the top of the dome, because I haven't watched a lot of these, and we recently, and we know the larger implications here.
What?
Original Spider-Man series, Tobey Maguire.
Oh, okay.
So we'll run through. We'll run through, and then we'll do Andrew Garfield, and then we'll give you what's leading into this. So original Spider-Man series, Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
Number 1, Green Goblin villain, right?
Yep, Green Goblin's the villain, solo villain in this film. So this movie, this is the origin story of Spider-Man. He gets
Classic origin, Macho Man Randy Savage.
He gets bit immediately, and it turns into Spider-Man almost immediately within the first 15 minutes of the movie, I think, which is perfect. That's what you need. Where the Andrew Garfield one takes about 45 minutes. So he gets bit by the spider. He muscles up, figures out he's a superhero, goes through all the weird up and away web stuff. And in the same time, Norman Osborn really wants to get this glider project off the ground with this like steroid gas that
So he gets exposed to it. He starts to go like,
he gets crazy. So he tested. They need to do human trials. They've only done rat. So he does it on himself. And they said it's known to cause like psychotic tendencies, blah blah blah. So he ends up taking it.
Becomes Green Goblin.
Becomes the Green Goblin. Green Goblin eventually figures out that Peter is Spider-Man, and then he attacks Aunt May, and then he attacks Mary Jane and a lift of children, and he has to choose. Spider-Man has to choose.
That is a good scene. I forgot about that.
Really, and then that just leads right into the finale, the final battle, which is quick.
Goblin dies.
Goblin
Not
dies.
Peter's fault.
Not Peter's fault. By his own blade. Spider-Man takes him back to his home, and Harry thinks Spider-Man killed him.
Harry sees Spider-Man leave.
Yeah, and then
that sets up number 2 for
with great power comes great responsibility. Spider-Man 2 has slowly been climbing my ranking every time I watch it.
Watched it not completely through. It was on TNT or something like that the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I got home from work, so threw it on. Literally the beginning of the Doc Ock train fight.
Oh, great scene.
Started, yeah.
His arms would definitely have ripped off his body.
100%.
So Spider-Man 2. So Peter is he's in the shittiest apartment ever, balancing being Spider-Man, being a student, being a freelance photographer, and making rent. So he's trying to do all that. He misses Mary Jane's play, and that essentially is what leads him to really not want to be Spider-Man anymore. Is his mind is playing games on him, and not allowing him to focus, so he loses his powers, which leads to a pretty funny elevator scene where the guy's like, nice suit, and he's like rides up the crotch, which I always found pretty funny. And in the meantime, Dr. Otto Octavius is trying to create energy, like a sustainable energy that could change the world. And this is kind of the theme of at least Spider-Man 1 and 2. It's where the villains become villains.
Trying to do good.
Not
good necessarily, but like trying to.
Otto's good. Norman's just sell crap. Basically, like not let his project fail, not be kicked out of Oscorp. Otto's experiment goes wrong. Harry's financing it, and Otto's wife dies, which then sends him down the spiral. And then the tentacles kind of take over his brain because the inhibitor chip breaks. And so he wants to rebuild it and prove that he can do this. And it's his passion project. So he starts robbing banks to get the money for the tritium that he needs. and Harry tells him, "I'll get you the tritium if you bring me Spider-Man." So he does get Spider-Man. This movie has a lot of fantastic fight scenes with Spider-Man and Doc Ock. While also this is going on, Aunt May is going broke. She cannot afford her house anymore, and Mary Jane is getting engaged and to J. Jonah Jameson's son, which the realizing on this rewatch, MJ and Peter's relationship is so fucking one dimensional that they just like each other. The first movie she goes from not even like acknowledging him to them being like talking to him all the time, then calling him her best friend. And then the second movie, she's like, "I love you."
I think part of the problem is that Kirsten Dunst was just like the hot name at the time, and she stinks. She's just not a good actress.
So like she's just always the damsel in distress. Like that's what it is. They never talk about the relationship. She always goes like in Spider-Man 3, she's like, "Peter, you never listen to me. You never listen to me." And it's like, because they never talk. Like you never see them like the romantic moments in their relationship. It's always just that Peter loves MJ and they're meant to be together. So Peter kind of has stopped being Spider-Man and is more like attentive. Has seen her play and is like, "Punch me, I bleed." And she's like, "I'm getting married." And then, long story short, she has to kiss her husband to know that true love kiss. And she goes and meets Peter. And this is the scene that was in the trailer, every single trailer for Spider-Man 2, where they're in the diner and she says, "Kiss me."
The car comes flying.
And the car comes flying through. And Doc Ock takes her. And then Peter realizes he wants to be Spider-Man again because he needs to be. And then eventually saves the world. And with it, Otto snaps out of it and takes the giant, unsustainable energy source down with him, which is where we're told Spider-Man No Way Home will pick up, is exactly when that happens.
All right, so that's kind of like what I wanted to get to.
Yes.
To figure out why, because I mean, at this point, Doc Ock is on everything.
Well,
all the posters, like it's very he's the thing. So like, all right, how is he showing up here? Right? How does that make sense? So the idea is that when the energy source fails, it rips.
It's possible. It's possible that since that Molina opened his mouth like in April saying, "I'm in this movie," whatever. And from that moment, he said, "I'm picking up kind of exactly where it left off." And my head was like, okay, that makes sense. That's a reasonable explanation. That created some sort of dimension shit, the energy. But it's not confirmed, so I have no idea. So that's Spider-Man 2.
And for any recap on Spider-Man 3, go to your nearest trash can.
The first 40 minutes of Spider-Man 3 are good. It's just when he goes fully emo, it turns into a pile of shit.
Does he go like a jazz club while he's emo? Yeah, does the whole jazz thing. I think I said in the group text. So I watched Spider-Man 2, the end of it, and then like the way that my desk is set up, it faces away from the television. So I was doing work and I just didn't turn the TV off. So like Spider-Man 3 was playing in the background. And at one point I like got up and grabbed the remote. I was like, I'm not giving this ratings. Like I'm done giving this movie ratings on television.
The stuff with Goblin is okay. The stuff with Sandman's really good. But some of like the dialogue and the MJ stuff is crap and the Venom stuff is crap.
Yeah.
Which Marvel has told us that was a lot of Sony involvement, he believes. But all you need to know,
Eddie Brock isn't even like a good Eddie Brock.
No, it's Topher Grace and it's weird, and he's like in love with Gwen Stacy and she barely acknowledges him, and then that's like it. It's like it's so dumb.
Very strange.
So nothing really to report home other than I think Peter and MJ end up
that shouldn't really play in.
Yeah, no, a Sandman is in the trailers for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay.
So so now we go on to Andrew Garfield movies, I guess. Which are
Quick rundown. What's gonna be a factor? Let's do it that
Let's
way.
do it that. I think that's a good way to do it.
What's gonna be because I mean for Spider-Man 1 and 2 with Tobey Maguire, we knew they were building to Otto Octavius, and Otto Octavius is clearly in a lot of things in this movie, or they're advertising it as if he is.
Who are you most excited to see back?
Tom Holland.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care about the other one. I've said before.
No, not
record.
the villains. The villains.
I don't. I could care less.
Really?
I'd like to see Michael Keaton's Vulture. Like I'm not a huge Otto Octavius is fine, right?
Oh, yeah.
I could care. I don't really care for Electro. Jamie Foxx's Electro.
Well, yeah, they changed him up.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I haven't watched 3 in a long time, and you and Marvel were saying that Sandman's story is like actually pretty solid. So I'd have to rewatch that and like remember the situation. I remember him. I just don't remember like
so I don't think
around it.
I think if you want to rewatch them, that'll be fine. I think we are going to get very different versions of these characters. Otto Octavius might be the only one that we get.
Yeah.
From what I've
seen, like the Green Goblin's always cool.
That's who I'm most excited.
We've been done so much. Also, I'm like,
yeah, that's like my downside of them doing this is like I always wanted to see the MCU's Doc Ock and Green Goblin. While it's super cool to see them back, but I would have loved to have seen like what.
How are you going to make this?
Yeah, like what Marvel would have done differently.
Well, fine. I don't care either way. I would say probably Doc Ock over Green Goblin, just because when I was a kid, I always liked Doc Ock more.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like the versions in the movies, just like the character.
Yeah.
But
So the Amazing Spider-Man, the things you need to know, really for 1 and 2. I'm just going to sum them up 1 and 2. Kirk Connors as a lizard wasn't originally evil. Made the serum for Oscorp to kind of regenerate that arm of his and also lead to further advances in technology. It kind of warped his brain. He became the lizard. Tried to make everybody.
Is he teased for No Way Out?
He's in it,
yeah. This is what I get for not watching any trailers. You know?
But it's good. I mean, he was in the original one for like a split second. The original trailer.
Okay.
And Peter stops him, and I believe he dies. But also Captain Stacy dies. I think that's really all you need to. The Amazing Spider-Man movies tried to incorporate Peter's parents, and I could care less. I could care less about Peter's parents. And then all you need to know about Electro from Spider-Man 2 is that he was obsessed with Spider-Man because he saved his life, and then he had this accident. But honestly, I'm not even going to go over it because Jamie Foxx is talks so much about how they changed the character, like it's so different.
So not much from the Amazing Spider-Man movies that will play.
Yeah, like he kept talking about how he's not blue. He's basically what he said was like, I didn't really fuck with that, but like now I'm normal.
We got a brand new start, a brand new look. The blue when we did it the first time, it was look, man, I didn't care. I was just happy to be in this wonderful chorus, and it was like you said, it was sort of like 2 or 3 hours or whatever like that. But with this new is fly. The homies is like, okay, we get you now. You know, when I was blue, they still roll with me, but okay, you blue. But with this one, it just feels more comfortable.
So I really think the Amazing Spider-Man. I really like Andrew Garfield. What you need to know is Gwen Stacy died. She died in Spider-Man 2 at the hands of the Hobgoblin. So that's the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then that leads us to Homecoming. So I guess really we'll hit on the important parts of Spider-Man Homecoming. Really just that.
I mean, I guess the biggest part of Spider-Man Homecoming that to create like a continuity thing.
The Vulture.
What's that?
I guess it's like the Vulture.
Like Vulture leading into. It's that, and I think it's Happy.
Yeah, it's like to end the Avengers Tower.
Yeah,
that's the only who bought Avengers Tower is the big thing. Adrian Toomes as the Vulture. We may see him. We may not see him.
Do a backflip.
That guy's the same guy from Shang-Chi on the bus. Very important continuity. So basically, in Spider-Man Homecoming, Peter This is after the events of Civil War. But Peter just really wants to be an Avenger. Iron Man's like, yo, sit this one out. Happy'll take care of you. Happy keeps pushing him off. Adrian Toombs, the Vulture, has collected Chitauri power cells and weapons and has been making stuff out of them, which also leads to the Shocker being in this movie as well. That's kind of like it. His identity is revealed to his best friend Ned. They do stop them. Peter stops the.
I think that's probably my biggest thing that I don't necessarily like about the Tom Holland Spider-Mans is that his identity is revealed to everyone all the time. I mean, even before they actually reveal his identity, right?
Yeah.
There was like 10 people who knew the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just like not Spider-Man.
Yep. Nope.
I do have an Aaron Davis sighting in this movie too.
Yeah, Aaron Davis is in. I don't like it either that Aunt May knows because that's always been like the thing. She doesn't know. And the fact that she's like totally cool with it is which is weird for me to.
Yeah, like, hey, just go be Spidey.
Yeah.
Be home for dinner.
So Aaron Davis is in this movie. Wink, wink, Miles Morales. That's his uncle. And so Peter ends up saving the day and proving that he does have the ability to be an Avenger and be a superhero. So Tony invites to join the Avengers with the Iron Spider suit. He eventually turns it down. He wants to be a friendly local, your neighborhood Spider-Man. The end credit scene of Spider-Man Homecoming is that the Vulture is confronted by Scorpion in prison, and he asks to reveal Peter's identity. Toom says he doesn't know, but there's obviously the super cool Washington Monument scene in this movie. And also, there's actually a lot of really cool scenes.
The plane scene's pretty cool, but that was like the big thing on in the trailers.
And I think that's really all you need to know. And the confrontation scene in the car, where the Vulture realizes who Peter is.
On the way to the dance.
Yep, on the way to the dance.
Or when he drops him off at the dance. That's that's a great.
And he's
scene.
like, "Stay out of my business. I know, like, you're Spider-Man."
Everybody knows. Everyone in their right mind knows that he's Spider-Man.
So that's kind of Homecoming in a quick 2-minute nutshell. And then we're gonna do the same thing for Far From Home. So Far From Home picks up like immediately after Endgame. So Peter's still dealing with the loss of Tony, trying to find that mentor. So the school decides to go on a European trip, which is very common. It actually is for some schools around here when you're in high school. And his Aunt May tells him
if you have money.
Go. If you have money, yes. Tells him you should go and to take the suit with him. He says no, he just like needs a break from it, but he takes it anyway. And Aunt May has also launched Feast, which is like a shelter for people who were affected by the blip and just affected by poverty. So then they get to Italy. Peter has this whole plan to tell MJ how he feels. And they're attacked by this mysterious water creature. And so chaos ensues. Peter tries to save the day. But ultimately, this cloaked figure with this glass fishbowl on his head saves the day. And we learn that this is what the news is calling Mysterio. So that's done. Peter's like, great, we're going to go to bed now. And then Nick Fury shoots Ned with a tranquilizer dart and brings Peter back to where they're at because Peter had been dodging Nick Fury's phone calls, which you don't dodge those phone calls. And Fury gives Peter Edith, which are Tony's glasses, and he's gifting him to the next Iron Man. Peter doesn't feel like he's ready for this, but he takes them on. He wears them. Then he go to the new Shield, Fury's hideout, and this is where he's introduced to Mysterio, Quentin Beck. Quentin Beck tells him he's from the multiverse and that he's here to destroy these elemental monsters who killed his family. Peter's looking for this somebody to look up to, this next Iron Man, and he finds it in Mysterio, where he eventually gifts Quentin Beck the Edith glasses, which then
creates the villain reveal.
This is their plan all along. They all worked for Tony Stark. Beck actually came up with the augmented reality from Civil War, termed BARF. And it's all just kind of payback at Tony. And he wants to use this technology and everybody with his team, with his projectors that have created these monsters to be seen as an Avengers level hero, even though he has no powers and really can't do anything. So they start to realize that something might be up when MJ reveals to Peter, when she tells Peter, hey, I know you're Spider-Man. that she found this projector at the scene where Night Monkey was, and
It had the spider, the webs on.
yeah, it had the web on it, and then it just activates and recreates a scene from where
fight.
the fight was. And they're like, oh crap, and they realize that Beck isn't who he says he is. So then this leads to Peter calling Fury, and Fury picking him up and taking him to this facility where it actually is Beck performing one of his illusions as Mysterio. Mysterio is a fucking awesome villain, and this is such an awesome scene. And Beck wants Peter to reveal who knows his true identity, that Quentin Beck is Mysterio, and that this plan is fake, so he can take him out.
I do get confused because, like, in the scenes where Beck's doing his like illusions
in broad daylight,
Spider-Man's like doing all these things, like he's falling, like stories of like, you know what I mean, out of buildings. But then when they're in London at the end, like the final, like the third act fight scene, like he just gets behind a projector and now he can see like everything from the other side. Like there's that entire time he at no point was he like those projectors were that widespread that like he never got on the other side of the illusion.
I guess so. And I think that they were facing him where in London, they're like, he goes into the outside because they're like outside facing and they're projecting it that way. I guess that's your way around it. Because like even in broad daylight, you're like, these lights wouldn't be showing this well. Like it's pitch black in a scene. And it's like, you can like make that argument. You could say that maybe Peter was just so scared to. I'm with you though. It's done really well, but there is a little bit of a plot hole.
But like also it's a superhero. That this kid has spider powers. So beggars can't be choosers. How do they what was the question? Is there gravity on Titan?
Oh yeah, fucking shame. No. He said I think he did ask gravity, but he says there oxygen.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think he Googled it. It's
like doesn't take me out the entire like where I'm like, oh my god, this doesn't make any sense. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Well, hold on, yeah. So then Peter obviously after Beck does that whole illusion, he gets hit by the train, and he has to call Happy for a ride, and Happy gives this incredible speech.
Favorite scene in the movie, I think.
I don't know if that's me, Happy. I'm not Iron Man.
You're not Iron Man. You're never gonna be Iron Man. Nobody could live up to Tony. Not even Tony. Tony was my best friend, and he was a mess. He second-guessed everything he did. He was all over the place. The one thing that he did that he didn't second-guess was picking you. I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone. And your friends are in trouble. You're all alone. Your tech is missing. What are you going to do about it?
And he gets, all right, I'm Spider-Man. I can do this. And, they end up stopping the drones, but Mysterio still has a play up his hand. He tries to kill Peter. Peter stops him with his Peter Tingle, and that's how he gets through the illusions. And then Beck is killed by when one of the projectors, the drones, I keep calling them projectors, they're drones, misfires and hits them.
Well, the drones have projectors on them. So
yes, yeah. And then that's kind of it. They head back to London.
They're very similar though, because Beck's the one telling the projector to fire. Yeah. Very similar to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man Green Goblin type death.
Yes.
Like killed by his own machine.
And before he fully passes away, he uploads the data to one of his colleagues who says to get this back to wherever. And so then everybody returns home. Everything's fine. Peter seems like he's going great.
Happily ever after, right?
Wrong.
Oh, what a twist.
The end credit scene reveals that Mysterio, because when Peter says kill them all, like to the drones, it was so weirdly phrased that I'm like, this is coming back somehow. Like he didn't say like destroy drones. He was just like kill them all. So Mysterio uses that to frame Peter.
There you have it, folks. Conclusive proof that Spider-Man was responsible for the brutal murder of Mysterio, an interdimensional warrior who gave his life to protect our planet and who will no doubt go down in history as the greatest superhero of all time. But that's not all, folks. Here's the real blockbuster. Brace yourselves. You might want to sit down.
Spider-Man's real name is... Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker.
And then that also shows us J. Jonah Jameson
from
the Daily Bugle back.
Which is weird because it's still the same J. Jonah Jameson here.
Yep. Yep.
So does that mean that there is a Otto Octavius that's also played by Alfred Molina that is rolling around in Peter's version of Earth?
It's very, very, very possible.
So there's a lot going on now with a lot of characters from a lot of different places.
Hopefully that wasn't too much for you guys. Hopefully we explained it somewhat. If not, go watch the movies.
Yeah, go watch. What's it? 7 movies? You got time.
You got time.
You got one a day ish.
One, if that. 2, maybe a double feature. But that's kind of the events of all the Spider-Man movies leading up. I hope it wasn't too much. Anything else to add, Bob, before we go?
No, I'm excited. I'm excited for Spider-Man. Excited for Hawkeye.
All right, I think that does it all for us here. Any recommendations before we go?
Nothing right now. I'm watching. I've said this the last couple episodes. I'm still watching the Mayor of Kingstown, but it's kind of just like a sappy, like it's MTV created. It's like an MTV drama.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's cool. It's like a crime drama thing. I'm into it. The one character, Bunny, he's like the drug dealer in the town. I'm a really big fan of him. He's keeping me in. I prefer Jeremy Renner in Hawkeye over Jeremy Renner in Mayor of Kingstown. I'm just very much in Jeremy Renner mode right now. So. Yeah, but that's the only real thing I'm watching other than Hawkeye.
I started Sons of Anarchy. I'm on season 3. It's really good. I finally started it. So that's my plug.
Yeah. Check it out then.
I'm ready for this big fucking movie. I can't wait. I've been waiting so long for our Hallmark movie. I just cannot wait. And then Spider-Man comes out next week, so that should be good. Yeah, I think that does it for us here. Remember to check out our website, all of our merch on Redbubble. Buy some shit, Christmas gifts, and we'll see you later. Thanks for listening.
Well, that's too strong, 'cause it is my favorite holiday. But all this year's been a busy blur. Don't think I have the energy to add to my already mad rush, just 'cause it's 'tis the season. The perfect gift for me would be completions and connections left from last year. Ski shop encounter, most interesting. Add his number, but never the time. Most of 81, pass along those lines. So deck those halls, trim those trees, raise up cups of Christmas cheer. I just need to catch my breath. Christmas by myself this year. boots back.